What's up, guys? You got the Pharaoh coming to you for Pop-Up Podcast, courtesy of Egyptian Knights Media. Joining me today, a man that I actually got to know pretty well over the past couple of years because I've seen him perform, I think a total now is 9 times in 2 years. And our first year, we actually were able to sit down and interview every single member of the band. And Bad Wolves is one of the only bands that I've been able to do that, hit the entire ring of them in 1 year. Mr. Kyle Konkiel. Kyle, how you doing today, brother?
Good, man. How are you, bud?
I'm doing wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It's just been crazy times, crazy world, but we're not going to get into that. We're going to talk music and random goofiness. That's the way I like to plug the show. It's just completely random. You never know what's going to happen. So what have you been up to lately while you've had this little bit of a touring downtime? This is something you guys are not used to because you guys are road warriors.
Yeah. So, well, we actually originally had scheduled time off until May 3rd. We were going to go out with Hollywood Undead, From Ashes to New, and Fire from the Gods. And we're going to do like a string of club shows to mix in with our festival appearances that we were going to do. But as it's looking like that's not going to happen, I've been trying to keep myself as busy as possible. I do Zoom workouts with my personal trainer when I can fit that in. EricTheTrainer.com. They are free. This guy charges an arm and a leg every week, and now he's offering free workouts to anyone who signs up. But I've been kind of hunkering down, trying to we're writing the third Bad Wolves record right now. And then
I like to hear that.
And then us as a band have been keeping busy. We have a Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Bad Wolves Official or Official Bad Wolves. I can't remember.
I think it's Bad Wolves Official for the Patreon.
Yeah. So, and each of us go on there, Monday through Friday. Like Monday is my day where like I'll go on the Instagram live and I'll do like a little questions or I'll call some of the fans and I'll do that for about 30 minutes. And then I'll head over to the Patreon page and it's more of like, a personal, like, I feel like it's a lot easier to deal with like the questions and comments and stuff like that on there on that platform. And like, depending on what, who's doing it, like the first time I did it, I did like a little game as well as a Q&A, but the game was like, can I play that riff? So people would say, like, I would have them be like, anything you guys can think of. Some of them I couldn't play, others I could. And it was like a fun little thing. So I have like a little microphone, headphone set up through my laptop that I can, I can pretty much plug anything in. I can use any of my plugins via Logic on my computer, and it can get pretty interesting. Like I think I'm gonna involve like maybe my ukulele next week or my keyboard that I have hooked up to my computer, and just try to make it like something fun, and maybe to give our fans something to look forward to. Now I know a lot of people can't afford. So there's 2 tiers. There's a $5 tier which gives you access to photos, little quick clips, and exclusive merch through the Patreon. But there's also a $10 tier, which literally gives you access to all of our content. We've released 4 songs, 2 covers, and 2 originals. And the $10 tier also gets you access to our live Q&As, which, me, Chris, Doc, Tommy, and John, like, we're on Monday through Friday. So depending on what day it is, you could, have something to do.
Now, we were talking before we went live. If you can bend your camera down a little bit, let's show that shirt off because that's a very, very unique shirt, Parasite.
Yeah.
And
so
you was telling me about the guy that makes those for you.
Yeah. So his name is Jad Dovey. He's based out of Las Vegas. Anyone who's watching this who follows me has seen my Beavis and Butthead Beetlejuice mashup T-shirt, which is infamously called the Butt Juice T-shirt because that's what it says on it. It says Butt Juice. I get all my T-shirts 90% of my t-shirts are from him. And his website is Jad, is rad.com. And I believe every weekend during the quarantine, he has anywhere from 10 to 25% off of your whole orders. Now, just because I'm hooked up with him, I still pay for his products. Like, that's how much I believe in. He sent me a little care package the first time, but I was like, listen, dude, I'm gonna have to re-up all the time. Can there just be like a code that I can use? So I'm hoping within the next few weeks, me and him are gonna have like a code for special discount pricing on your shopping cart. So once I do that, I'll send it to you, and if you want, you can send it out to your viewers.
Definitely. I've got his website down there on the crawler right now.
Yeah, I see it. But yeah, Jad's a really good guy, and he makes hilarious t-shirts. I've been wearing his t-shirts for almost 2 years. Like, they're pretty much mostly all my stage shirts. There's a few shirts that I've worn on stage that aren't his, but like I said, 90% of the shirts that I own are his.
Now, outside of Bad Wolves, what's some of the stuff you got going on? Because I know a lot of musicians are taking advantage of this time to do some co-collaborating with musicians that they normally don't get an opportunity to.
Yeah, so I'm going to be working with Tom Hazard and Dave Ellefson. Dave Ellefson just released. Yeah, I love Tom. Dave Ellefson just released a new single from his band Ellefson called Simple Truth. And Tom had asked me, well, he kind of challenged me to do a playthrough video of the new song. So I've been learning that, and hopefully within the next, I think, week, I'll have it out. And then I'm also going to be doing some stuff with the Dave Ellefson Youth Music Foundation. They have this thing out right now for kids who aren't in school. It's called the Schools Out program. And basically what it does is it offers kids free music lessons. And it's not just me. Like, honestly, like I'm the little guy on the totem pole here. Like, you have guys like, like Dave Ellefson himself, Chris Kale from Five Finger Death Punch, Rod Diaz from Suicidal Tendencies. Like, you have all these high profile musicians giving these kids, I think Chris Kale does 2 or 3 a week, free lessons for kids. So I'm going to start doing that next week. So I'll be doing half-hour lessons, basically from novice to intermediate. Even if you're a professional and you wanted to do it, you could. Doesn't mean I'm not going to show you anything you don't already know. But yeah, I think it's a really cool way for Dave to give back to the community. And I know that Dave and Tom have been super excited about this, and and I'm probably not even naming all the people that have done it and are continuing to do it. So I think if you just go to Dave Ellefson youthmusicfoundation.com, I believe that's the website. I don't have a computer handy right now. You can get more info on that, or just look up, Dave Ellefson on Facebook and Instagram, and he'll have all that information there for anyone who's interested.
And you said it says youth music?
Yeah, youth music, Dave Ellefson Youth Music Foundation.
There we go. I'm going to copy that link and put it down on the crawler as well. So that way people see it. We ain't going to take Jad off, though. Those shirts are just too badass.
But yeah, so other than that, man, like I said, we're getting some ideas thrown together for the new Bad Wolves record, which I've just been calling Bad Wolves 3 right now.
No title name yet?
No, we're not even to that phase right now. I think I've gotten a handful of songs and a handful of ideas from some of the other guys. But we're not even, we're still using working titles. I think, am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah. It's the internet, man. I ain't got to edit this shit.
So I think the last working title I was using Because you know how unfortunately this is called like COVID-19.
Yeah.
So I put like Codic-19 or something stupid like that.
There you go. Now I see some axes back there behind
Oh
you.
yeah, got a
What
little
all?
bit of a.
What all you got back there?
All right, I'm going to turn the camera around. I believe I have that option here.
Yes, sir.
All
Because
right,
you're on your phone.
so this is what I actually use to write most of the song ideas. This is my Ovation acoustic guitar. I feel that writing with an acoustic guitar, especially metal, gives you a better idea of what your final product is going to be. And I feel that when you're writing with an acoustic guitar, instead of plugging into a high gain amp, you may have more inspiration than just like, okay, well, here's this riff, here's this riff. I feel like you can really get more of the melodic tones and ideas out on the acoustic guitar. And then we'll just stick with the guitars for now. I have this, which I got from Mr. Ola Englund,
Oh, wow.
which is a Solar A2.7, 7-string guitar. And pickups are the DiMarzio, John Petrucci, Rainmaker, and Dreamcatcher set. This guitar over to the right is my very first electric guitar that I just had reworked. It is 80s BC Rich Gunslinger. Pickups are also DiMarzio. It's the bridge pickup is the DiMarzio Fortitude, which is Joe from Gojira's signature pickup, and the two single coils are the True Velvet. And then Adam from FU Tone set up my my Floyd for this guy. Had a little bit of work done there in the back, so I have the brass block and the tremolock on there. But yeah, this is my first guitar.
That's
when
pretty
BC
cool.
Rich was still made in North Hollywood, California, which is where I live now.
Oh, wow.
And then going left from there, funny enough, I'm working with Dave Ellefson. I actually bought a Dave Ellefson signature bass.
Signature series.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's my Dave Ellefson signature model. It's the import model, not the domestic. So I think that one runs for about $550. Last Christmas, I was kind of getting like a bass collection together. So I emailed Eric Bass from Shinedown, and I asked him, "Hey man, I want to buy one of your basses. Where can you introduce me to your contact over at Prestige Guitars?" And then he's like, "Hey, what's your address?" And I was like, so I gave him my address, and he sent me one of his signature Prestige. Yeah, this is probably one of the best sounding P basses I've ever played. So this was a very nice gift. Yeah, very nice gift from Prestige, Eric Bass, Hoogie, and Hoogie set it up for me, had it set up for me. Which, you know, Hoogie runs WB gear, which is like Prestige guitars, SIT strings, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, this is probably the best sounding P bass, especially for a brand new bass that I've ever played. It's one of my favorites right now. I'm gonna do all my non-endorsement guitars first.
Okay.
This one is a bass that I had bought.
That's unique.
From a luthier out of Detroit, Michigan. His name is Matt Kiefer. His company is called Better Mousetrap Guitars. I got introduced to him from Aaron Bruck from Breakin' Benjamin. I really loved the way that Aaron's basses looked. I really loved how they sounded. So he introduced me to Matt, and we got talking about some bass ideas. And I told him, basically, I gave him a minimal amount of specs. I gave him a couple woods that I wanted, which is the neck here, the neck and fretboard, which is Wenge. And I told him I wanted a single cut, which is, it only has one cut right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of picked and also the electronics and the hardware, and he kind of picked everything else out. It's a really gorgeous bass.
That is beautiful.
All hand carved. Actually, let me see if I can do this with one hand right now. The most unique thing about this bass that I think is, it's not the biggest deal about this bass, but to me, it's one of the coolest. The cavities are magnetic. So if I have to change a battery really quick, or if I need to get access to my preamp, of course, I can't do this one-handed. Magnets are pretty strong. Everything is accessible via magnet.
That is super cool.
So the electronics in this one, I believe, are the Nordstrand big Blademan pickups with the Nordstrand JB3 preamp. This is also an extended scale bass, so it's a 35-inch scale. So like an Ibanez BTB bass is the same scale length as this, or like any Schecter or ESP 5-string. So this is it's a 4-string with a 5-string scale length.
And I mean that thing is it's gorgeous. I love the wood design in it.
It's about 6 pounds too, so it's not heavy whatsoever. Like when I played that I played that for a few shows at the end of the Papa Roach tour that we did last summer, and I felt like I didn't even have a bass guitar on.
Gives you a little more freedom to roam the stage too.
Yeah, and it helps my back. This is one of my main live guitars right now. This is a Dingwall D-Rock. It's kind of based off of the old Thunderbird body style. This is the bass that I would use for, say, like Killing Me Slowly, Zombie. There's a couple others I can't think off the top of my head, but a little
more chunky sounding.
Yeah. Very streamlined though, very thin. But,
that is thin.
I kind of have it set up. This is a completely passive bass, so there's no active electronics in this one. But yeah, so that's one of my main ones that I'm using live right now. This is a bass that I'm kind of doing a little bit of testing on. I can't really get too much into it right now because it hasn't been made public, but I'm testing pickups and electronics. So this Dingwall Combustion, which was my main touring bass for the first year and a half of Bad Wolves touring, this is what I'm kind of using to test out some pickups right now.
I was gonna say I've seen that guitar several times.
Yeah, Rockfest. Welcome to Rockville. This is what I was using, but there's some top secret pickups in there right now with top secret preamp, and I'm just doing some testing right now. And let's see. Oh, this is my like, if there's any, like, if you believe that some guitars come with music in them, this is like
this is the one.
This is the one. This is I have nicknamed this bass Perp because it's purple. And it's also missing a volume knob, adds character, I guess. But this is my favorite sounding Dingwall 5-string that I have. There's just something about this bass right here. And
now, did you tour with that?
Yes, I have toured with this. Because
I think that's the one you played in Huntsville at Sidetracks.
Yes. So this would be the bass that I played. I'm actually I'm never taking this out on the road ever again because I love it so much and I don't want it to get any more messed up than it already has. But yeah, this bass has some notes in it. It's got a lot of inspiration for me. I mean, you can see this thing's been through hell and back for a year of touring. It's dirty, it's grimy, it's got my DNA all over it.
All over
blood, sweat, and probably a little bit of tears. But yeah, this is my favorite bass so far that I've played. Actually, I have a purple version of the D-Rock that is my main bass for this tuning. But that's in storage right now, and it'll probably just stay in storage because I don't really need it. I have everything I need here at the house. And then I don't have my ukulele. It's in my car currently. But yeah, so that's kind of my selection of what I'm working here. Obviously, because I'm a bass player, there's a lot more basses than guitars. I don't really know any studio that would only have 3 guitars and 6 basses, but you know, for my little studio setup here, it kind of gives me the option because I've started playing guitar first. I was pretty decent at dialing in a guitar tone that worked for what I wanted it to do. So I know exactly how to do that. So I need less guitars to do that. But when writing a new record, what I like to do is if I'm recording something, I will record the guitar parts with two different guitars or two different amps using the same guitar, depending on the tuning. And then I will go through most of these basses to try to find something that fits well with the song, because each one of these basses has a little bit different of a character and a distinctive sound. Like the Jackson bass is more of, I mean, it's Dave Ellefson tone. You get more of that.
I've actually got a question for you from one of our viewers, Jackson Criswell. What's up, Jackson? How does the fan fret compare to the standard frets?
Okay, so the whole thing with the fan fret system, Ralph Novak actually invented it. I want to say in the 70s or 80s. It's called the Novak's guitar system because he owns a company called Novak's Guitars. Now, Sheldon Dingwall started incorporating it into his instruments in 1990. Basically, you kind of treat the bass guitar that has the fan frets. It's like a piano. With a piano, the bass strings are longer and the treble strings are shorter. So what that does with the guitar is that a lot of 5-string basses that are parallel fret, which is normal fret, I just call it parallel fret because they're parallel to each other. Mm-hmm. Most parallel fret 5-string bass guitars, the higher 4 strings sound great, but what you have is an over distorted low string, and it doesn't quite ever sound the same as the rest of the guitar. I've had that problem a lot in my early years, is the low string sounding so much different than the rest of the bass guitar. So what the fan fret system does is that because each of the strings here have their own scale length. So my low B string is a 37-inch scale, but my high G string is a 34-inch scale. What that does is it gives a solid piano tone throughout the entire instrument. Like my Dingwall basses, every string has the same resonance and the same feel as every other string. But it also makes it so you can use smaller strings for certain tunings, and it gives you 100% perfect intonation, unlike a lot of bass guitars that are parallel fret.
That's cool.
I prefer it. Cool, and there's no real learning curve. A lot of people think like, oh, I couldn't do that. I mean, unless you're going past the 12th fret, there's really no learning curve to playing a fan fret bass. And
I couldn't do it because I'm not a bass player. And it's a little bit easier for you and Doc and you guys to be more selective with your gear than it is John, because us drummers, we take up space.
Yes,
we have to have real estate. And it's absolutely stupid sometimes. So, well, Kyle, speaking of stupid, now we get into what I like to call the randomizer. I've got a little thing on here, and the randomizer will automatically pick either the bucket list, ABCs of Rock, 20 years into the future, fantasy showcase, and that's where we'll go from there. And let's see, here's my button. Okay, here we go. The randomizer with Kyle Konkiel, folks. The bucket list.
That was funny.
Kyle Konkiel.
So I was actually talking about this with our Patreon viewers yesterday during my live Q&A. And I actually gave our listeners, because we have like a certain amount of people that come in just to spectate, and then sorry, my dog's going crazy, and a certain amount of people that actually interact. So I'd say about, like, if we get 50 viewers, I have about half of that actually interacting. And I actually gave our our viewers a little bit of homework because everyone was asking about my bucket list and I didn't have any good answers for it. So I guess I'll do my best. Bucket list. Let's see. To Now, could this be like pretty much anything, or is this
Anything.
just like...
It doesn't have to be music related. It's
Okay.
just life in general. Skydiving. You ever been skydiving?
No, thanks. Won't ever do it either. I would really love to explore Japan. I've never been to Japan yet. I would love to go to Japan. I'd love to go to New Zealand. I would love to actually, because I've been to Switzerland a few times. I would love to see the Swiss Alps.
Oh, nice.
While
you're in Japan, you can climb Mount Fuji.
I mean, I don't know about climbing. I'm winded that way up.
All it is a walk.
Oh, okay.
They actually have a trail that goes all the way up, and at the bottom, my brother was stationed in Japan. Is how I know this. At the bottom of Mount Fuji, they give you a walking stick. And throughout the trail, there's different stages. And when you get to the stage, they burn into the stick how high up you go.
Oh.
So you can actually track it all. And I thought it was pretty cool. He came back from Japan with it. Said it was a beautiful, beautiful country.
Well, then let's add that one. And what else? There was one. Oh, and I want to walk the Great Wall of China.
I wouldn't do it right now.
No, I'm not going to go anywhere near China right now.
No, me either. Now, we talked about y'all's Patreon. I know you guys have merch. I know you've got CDs. Where can the people right now, because we're obviously not getting shows, where can they go right now to get Bad Wolves merch, CDs, T-shirts?
Well, we have exclusive merch through our Patreon, which we mentioned earlier. But we have a wonderful website, which I always throw people to when they're like, "Hey, when are you going to be here? When are you going to be there?" Blah blah blah. BadWolvesNation.com. It has our tour dates, all of our social media links, merchandise, anything that you want that's Bad Wolves related can be found on BadWolvesNation.com.
Very cool. Brother, I appreciate you taking time out and sitting down with us and chit-chatting. Again, folks, I want to apologize. Me and Toshi, I screwed up on the 5 o'clock interview. He was unavailable to do it, but we have rescheduled that for Friday at 5, Friday at 6, right after Florida Frank from Hatebreed. So,
Florida Frank, you better tell him I love him.
I will. I certainly will. It's going to be nice catching up with him. I haven't seen him since 2018 2015. Welcome to Rockville.
Hell yeah, man. Would you mind if I plugged some of my social media here?
You go right ahead, sir.
All right. So if you guys want, you can follow me on Instagram, KSKonkiel. That's KSKONKIEL, as well as Twitter. And I probably won't add you on Facebook, so just follow me on those two places. And also make sure you follow the band.
I got lucky.
And you can also just follow Bad Wolves on Instagram, Bad Wolves Official.
I think I added every one of you guys when you were in Huntsville because it was such a small venue, and we were able to just sit there, chit-chat, and knock a drink back or two.
Yeah, was that during Crown Royals?
Yep. Because I was like, ooh, it's a whiskey man. My kind of guy.
Crown Royal ginger ale, double with a lime. That's the only way to take it.
And you and Doc both have destroyed me because now I'm drinking Crown Royal, ginger, and lime, and I'm eating donuts. So,
actually, it's funny. So, a quick little side note here, and then I'll let you get back to your day. Is that me and Doc are pretty much the only ones who, almost ritualistically, and not in a bad way, we'll have a cocktail after we play. Like for me, I believe in well-timed everything.
Yes.
And there is nothing better than an after-show cocktail. And we've actually nicknamed them. I call his, when he's making drinks, because, sometimes we don't have all of the ingredients that we need to make Crown Royal ginger ale. When he's making, what I like to call Doc-tails, It's tequila, LaCroix, and a splash of purple Gatorade with a lime. So that's a docktail, and then the Crown Royal Ginger Ale with a lime is a conch tail.
I am definitely gonna have to try that.
Yeah, any flavor of LaCroix, it doesn't matter. Like, we literally work with what we have, but purple Gatorade is an essential for that.
That's an essential. Okay.
Yeah.
Purple Gatorade, LaCroix, and tequila. Any particular brand of tequila?
What's begins with a C? Casa something?
Well, there's Cuervo and
No Cuervo. Like 1800, Don Julio, the blue label.
Okay.
And then Casa something, Casa Verde. I don't know. They're all clear tequilas. The only time I drink Reposado was with Brad from 3 Days Grace.
Very cool. Kyle, I greatly appreciate it. And if you happen to speak to Chris Kale, tell him his hockey brother down in Alabama says hello, because I had an interview with him. We sat there. The interview was 20 minutes. For 5 minutes, we talked music. For the other 15, we were talking hockey.
There you go, man. Yeah, that guy loves his sports.
Oh, yeah. Brother, thanks again.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you having me on here at any time, man. Just hit me up.
Will do. All right, folks. Mr. Chris Konkiel of Bad Wolves. I can't believe. All right. Now, you got to correct me here. Is it Konkiel? How do you pronounce your last name?
It's Konkiel, but it's like there's a certain way to say it. You can say Konkiel. I typically don't really correct people because of how it's spelled.
Especially me being from the South, we say everything different.
Here's how I like to say it. Like, I'm sure you being from the South, you've probably dealt with the Bible once or twice.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right. The book Ezekiel, Ezekiel. Now just put a conch in where the easy E would be.
Okay.
Konkiel. It's actually like pronounced like Konkiel. It's like Konkiel, but it's too crazy. Just Konkiel. But yeah. Konkiel.
Very cool. All right, folks. Kyle Konkiel of Bad Wolves joining us here on Pop-Up Podcast. Stay tuned all this week, folks. The rest of this week, we got double interviews every day, 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's going to be insane. For Kyle, I am the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh has spoken.